Namo Namaha Bhaktam Sarvesham Hardum Swagatam. Welcome back to this channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you're doing great. I'm also good. And in the last video, we started with understanding these krit suffix, that how these suffixes actually modify a dhatu to create a new pratipadika. And in that, we saw few fundamental things necessary to understand the rules that underline these modifications. Okay. And then in the last video, we took the example of one suffix, trit suffix, and we understood how that suffix modifies a dhatu. So all that we saw in the last video, please go and check the last video first if you are directly coming to this video, because there are some key concepts that we spoke about in the last video. So I'll leave the link here. Go through that video first. It is strongly recommended. Then you come to this video, because again, a lot of key concepts was touched up in that video also. And in this video, I'm again taking two new suffixes, and we will see how these suffixes modify a dhatu to again create a new pratipadika. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly dive in today's video. Okay, so I hope everybody is coming from that last video. So we already know what are krit suffixes. Suffixes that modify a dhatu into a new pratipadika. We already know this. And then under this krit suffixes also, we have these three suffixes, trich, nuvul and quip, that do exactly the same kind of thing, that they change a root, a dhatu, into a new pratipadika that conveys the meaning one who does, the doer of the action. And now in this video, we are finally covering the next two. So we are starting with this nuvul suffix. So regarding this suffix, what does it denote? So again, we know this suffix creates a pratipadika that means agent of action, one who does, the doer, right? Then the it letters. So as you can see, this nuvul suffix has these letters na, v, u, l. And out of these, this na and this l, these are the it letters, the indicatory letters. Okay, and then what remains? This vu. So this is the main letter. This is the main content of the suffix. But due to some sub-rule, this vu, this changes into this aka. Okay, so it does not happen with all the suffixes, but with few suffixes. Whatever remains, this also further modifies into something else. And there is a sub-rule that guides this modification, but we don't have to go through that sub-rule. All we have to remember is this vu changes into this aka. So basically, for this nuvul suffix, this na and la, these are the it letters, and this aka, this is the main content that gets added. Okay, so just remember that. And now the required modifications of this suffix. Okay, and now pay attention to this point, that if as a it letter you have a na or a nya. Okay, so I repeat that for any krit suffix, if as an it letter you have a na or a nya, then the vriddhi happens, then the vriddhi rules applies, the vriddhi modifications apply. Okay, that is why I'm writing that since this nuvul, this has this na as it letter, so due to this na as it, the vriddhi of last ik vowel, okay, and the vriddhi of penultimate short a. Okay, so just remember this point, that whenever any krit suffix has na or nya as a it letter, so this rules applies, this vriddhi of last ik and the vriddhi of penultimate. Penultimate, as we discussed in the last video, means the second last vowel. So if as a second last vowel you have a short a, that is you have a risva a, then the vriddhi of that risva a will happen. Okay, so these are the rules that guide this nuvul pratyay. Now let us see the examples. So we start with this very common word kRt. And kRt, this pratipadika means one who does. And this kRt, if you can guess, is coming from the dhatu kri dhatu. Kri dhatu again means to do, and this is being modified using nuvul pratyay. Okay, and now we know that nuvul pratyay, since it has a na as an it, so vriddhi of last ik vowel will happen, which means that this kri dhatu, which has ri as the last vowel, and this ri, this belongs to this ik pratyahara, right? All the simple vowels except a and a. This is what this ik pratyahara represents. So as per the required modification, the vriddhi of this ri will happen. And we know that the vriddhi of ri, this basically means r. Because again, as we discussed in the previous video, vriddhi, this represents the level 2 gradation of any vowel. So the level 1 is guna, ri becomes ar, and level 2 is vriddhi, ri becomes r. Okay, I hope this is clear. So this kri, this changes into kar. Okay, and for this nuvul, we know this na and this la, these are it letters, so they are removed. And then we also know that this vu, this further modifies as aka. So for this nuvul pratyay, the main content is this aka. Okay, so this kar plus aka, this is the equation. And then since no more further modifications or any sandhi is possible here, so we just combine them. So kar plus aka, karaka, one who does or the doer of the action. Okay, I hope this is clear. Let us move on, take another example. So we have this word nayaka. Nayaka, again a very common word we use in Hindi, Nayaka for hero. Basically, Nayaka means one who leads, the leader, Nayaka. And this pratipadika is coming from the dhatu ni, because ni dhatu is to lead. Ni dhatu also means to take away. Okay, to take away, to carry. But ni dhatu also means to lead. And since we are modifying this dhatu using nival pratyay, so we know these certain modifications will happen. So, vriddhi of last ik. So here as a last vowel you have this dirgha e. Okay, and the vriddhi of dirgha e, this is I. We know that the vriddhi of e vowel is I. Okay, so this ni dhatu changes into nai. And then for renewal we know that the main content is aka. Okay, so nai plus aka. And now there is a possibility of again yanta vanta desha sandhi, ayadi sandhi. That if after an I you have any other swara which is a in this case. So this I, this changes into I. Okay, so this I into I, this is the ayadi sandhi, due to which this nai, this will further change into this nai. Okay, and then you have this aka. So what you get together is nayaka. This is what is the pratipadika we get, nayaka. One who leads, the leader. Okay, and as I mentioned, this nayaka is such a common word in Hindi. And this ni dhatu also is very common in Sanskrit because we very frequently use its dhatu roop also. Saha nayati, he leads, he carries away. So again, the dhatu is also common, the word that is formed is also common. And now we understand that how from this ni dhatu you get this word nayaka. Okay, so that is the point of these videos. Now let us take this another example, pavaka. And this means one who purifies or purifier. And that is the reason why Agni has this name pavaka, because Agni as a sacrificial fire, when we offer our oblations into it during the fire ritual, that yajna, that Agnihotra. So Agni is that purifies our offerings. So that is why the one name is given to Agni as Pavaka, one who purifies in that sense. And this Pratipadika is coming again from the dhatu Pu dhatu. Pu dhatu means to purify. And this again dhatu is being modifying using Nuval Pratyay. Since Nuval Pratyay has a na as it, so the vriddhi of last ik will happen. So as a last ik vowel, you have this dirgha u. Okay, and the vriddhi of u we know is au. Okay, just as in the last example we saw, vriddhi of e is I, so vriddhi of u is au. So this pu, this changes into pau. Okay, due to that required modification. For naval, we know the main content is aka. Okay, and very similar to what we saw in the previous example, the yanta vanta desha sandhi will happen here, which says that if after an au you have any other swara, then this au, this changes into av. Okay, that is the yanta vanta desha sandhi, due to which this pau, this will change into pava. Okay, and then you have this aka. So together you combine it, the word becomes pavaka. And this is how we create a new word from a dhatu. Pu dhatu changes into pavaka. So I hope this is all clear. Now let us take another example. So we have this pratipadika darshaka. Okay, darshaka means one who sees, one who observes, the seer, the observer in that sense. And very easily you can identify this darshaka is coming from drish dhatu. Drish dhatu, as we all know, is to see. Okay, and now let us see the required modifications. So vriddhi of last ik. Since this dhatu is ending with a consonant, so you don't have any last vowel. So this vriddhi is not possible. And then vriddhi of penultimate short a. But in our dhatu here, the penultimate vowel, basically the second last vowel is not a short a. It is a ri. Okay, it is a ri, as you can see, drish. So since there is no short a for vriddhi to happen, so this vriddhi will also not happen. And then there is a point I mentioned in the last video that whenever this vriddhi, it cannot happen, then the gun may happen. Okay, so unlike vriddhi, which happens to the penultimate short a, the guna, it happens to the penultimate short ik. So basically all the simple vowels except this a and a. Okay, and in our dhatu here, drish dhatu, you have this ri, and ri belongs to ik. It is also riswa in nature, so the guna will happen. And the guna of ri is ar. Okay, and that is why this drish dhatu changes into darsh. Because the guna of ri happens, ri changes into ar, drish becomes darsh. And then for nuval we know that the main content is aka. So if we combine them together now, so we get this pratipadika darshaka. Darshaka means one who sees, the seer. So with this example, we saw this one point that whenever the vriddhi cannot happen, then the guna may happen. Okay, so that is what applied in this particular example, and that is what we saw. And again, I'm repeating this point that at first these rules may seem a lot, but trust me, these are not a lot of rules. There are only 3 or 4 types of rules. It's the first time we are encountering them maybe. So that is why it may seem a lot, but it is not. Just keep on practicing them very easily, very soon. They register in your mind and they become the second nature. Okay, so don't worry about it. Just again, focus on the logic of these things. But anyways, that was all for the examples of this nuval suffix. Now we are starting with this new suffix, quip suffix. And again, you know that what does it denote? So it denotes the agent of action, one who does. Now what are the ith letters of this suffix? So all the letters are ith letters in this suffix except this v. So the k, e, pa, all these are ith letters. The main letter that remains is this v, and due to some sub rule, this v also lop. Basically, this va also disappears. So to say that the main content of this quip is essentially 0. There is nothing that actually attaches to the dhatu. So this suffix is also called as zero suffix. Okay, so you can already imagine how easy it becomes to operate with this pratyay. Because since nothing attaches to the dhatu, so you don't have to worry about any sandhis that may happen. And to top it that, since this pratyay, this quip has ka as an ith letter. So due to this ka as ith letter, the vriddhi and guna, they are prohibited. Okay, and just remember this point that it just does not happen with ka. If ka or if nga, if both of them are present as ith letter, then the guna and vriddhi are prohibited. Just as we saw that if na and nya are present as ith letter, so it causes that vriddhi modification, right? So similarly, if ka and nga are present as ith letter, so guna and vriddhi, both of them are prohibited. So this is the rule. This is basically what these ith letters indicate towards. Okay. And then one more thing, that if you have a pa as an ith letter, then due to this pa as ith letter, additional ta for dhatus ending with short vowel. Basically means that if you have some dhatu like say G, so G, since this dhatu is ending with a short vowel, so after this G you will have this ta. So additional ta will come in between the dhatu and the pratyay. Okay, this is what this pa as an ith letter indicates. But anyways, now let us see the example. So bhas, this is the pratipadika. This is a sakarant pratipadika ending with a sa. And this pratipadika means one who shines. Why? Because the dhatu from which this is coming, bhas, this dhatu means to shine. Okay, and if I modify this dhatu using quip pratyay, since we know that for this quip pratyay, all the letters, they are ith letter, and this va also gets loped. So basically nothing attaches itself to the dhatu. So this dhatu just remains like this. So bhas just remains like this bhas. And this is what the pratipadika is. Bhas, one who shines, a sakarant pratipadika. So as I already told you know how easy it is to make words using quip pratyay. So we see this another example, urj. Urj is one who strengthens. Okay, and as you can already guess, this is also coming from the dhatu urja dhatu. Urja dhatu means to strengthen. And one who strengthens, so we are just modifying this urj using quip pratyay since nothing attaches of quip pratyay. So this urj just remains like this. This is the pratipadika. This is a jakarant pratipadika ending with a ja. So jakarant pratipadika. So this may look like a dhatu because actually nothing changed for the dhatu. But this here is used as a pratipadika, one who strengthens. And now take this example, jit. So jit is one who conquers, the conqueror. And this pratipadika we use. This is a takarant pratipadika, jit, that means one who conquers. And we use in a samasas like Vishwajit, right? Vishwajit, the conqueror of world. So jit pratipadika is commonly used. And this pratipadika is coming from ji dhatu. Ji dhatu means to win. And when we modify this dhatu using quip pratyay, since quip pratyay is a zero pratyay, so nothing actually attaches here. But due to the pa as ith letter in the quip pratyay, we see this modification that an additional ta comes for all dhatus ending with the short vowel. So since this G is ending with a short vowel, so you get an additional ta. So this is the only modification that happens, and this is the pratipadika we get, jit, that one who conquers, the conqueror. Okay, so this is the vyutpatti of this pratipadika. And now if we move on, we see this pratipadika bhu. So on the first look again, you will say that this is not a pratipadika, this is a dhatu, bhu dhatu, that means to become. But this dhatu again is modifying using our quip pratyay. Okay, since this pratyay does not add anything, so this bhu stays like bhu. And that pa rule also will not happen because that rule only happens with the dhatus ending with short vowel. The bhu here is with the dirgha vowel, the long vowel. So this modification also will not happen. So from this bhu dhatu, you get this bhu pratipadika, that means one who becomes. But anyways, let us see another example, with. So with, one who knows, the knower. And again, this particular pratipadika we use, Brahmavid. So we refer to Brahmavid as one who knows the Brahman. Okay, so that with in Brahmavid is this pratipadika, and it is not the dhatu with from which this pratipadika is coming. Because obviously this pratipadika is coming from with dhatu, that means to know, to understand, modified using quip pratyay, since nothing attaches, and since the dhatu is not ending with any short vowel, so this with remains as such, this one who knows or the knower. And by the way, if any one of you can notice, so this quip pratyay, so using this quip pratyay, whatever pratipadika we get, we mostly use them in the upapada samasa. So Upapad Samasa, if you know, then you know. If not, then in future videos we'll take this video. But there is a certain kind of Samasa, Upapad Samasa. All these like Brahmavid and Vishwajit, all these are like example of that. And the Pratipadikas that are formed using this quip pratyay are generally used within that format, that Upapad Samasa. That is what we saw in examples also. So just one additional detail I thought of sharing. But anyways, let us see this last word also, Bhrit. And again, as you can already guess, this Bhrit Pratipadika, one who supports, is coming from Bhrit, the Dhatu. That means to support. Okay, so from this Dhatu, you are getting this Pratipadika using the quip pratyay. So anyways, with this video and the last video, we covered the three suffixes, the trich, the naval and the quip. All these three suffixes that modifies the Dhatu into a new Pratipadika, that means one who does the action, the agent of the action, the doer of the action. So we covered these three suffixes, and you got a hang of how these suffixes actually modifies a dhatu, following the it letters, and what are the special modifications that are indicated by these it letters. So you are starting to get the logic behind these things. But anyways, I'll meet you in the next video with another set of pratyas. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy, keep learning Sanskrit. Vayam punah milamaha. Dhanyawad.